This thing on? All right. What's up, YouTube? This is my first YouTube video. This is super exciting. I've been wanting to do this for a long time, but honestly just didn't really put the time and energy to do it, and now I'm gonna do it. So, hi, what's going on? As you probably know, my name is Michael. Oh, we got a little puppy here. This is Jenny. She's my partner in crime. She will be in YouTube videos as well. Probably gonna be the ones that get the most views, but hey, that's cool. So, what is my YouTube gonna be about? Well, there's gonna be a little bit of this, a little bit of that. We're gonna bring some positive vibes, bring some hard training, talk about education in the fitness and nutrition space, and yeah, pretty much whatever I'm feeling. I'm gonna try to upload about 1 to 2 videos a week and try to stay as consistent as possible. So, what's this video gonna be about? Well, I figured I'd give you a basic rundown of how my training has evolved over the years, from the time I was a wrestler and football player up into now, where I'm doing strength training, doing CrossFit style training, and doing endurance as well, running 50Ks, completing Ironmans, all that kind of stuff. With the hopes that you see you can change your training over the years and take what you've learned and add it to your new style to then keep training fresh and fun so that you're never bored and you're always progressing. Ain't that right, Jenny girl? She agrees. But I want to get more comfortable. I don't want to stand any longer, so let's change it up. All right. I'm in focus now. All right, we're in the kitchen. Jenny has joined us. Wanna come up? Okay. All right, I'm just gonna talk now. So, training for me has evolved a lot over the last 6 years, you could say. Before high school, I was a football player and a wrestler. Then in high school, just focused on wrestling, and that's when I really started finding a joy and love for the training aspect of things. So obviously, I loved wrestling, but I really enjoyed doing the strength training, the conditioning. And so when I was done with wrestling after my senior year of high school, I decided to go all in on strength sports. I hired my first strength coach. Shout out to Zach Hommel. Still working with him today. All right, you're gonna go down. Okay, right. Move me down. Hey, stop it. No, come here. Sorry, got distracted. All right, so after high school wrestling, I went all in on strength sports. And for me, the most accessible was powerlifting. So early on in college, went really into powerlifting, did a few different meets, had success in them, set really good numbers, and by the time I was getting to be in a really good place with powerlifting, I was getting bored with it. Again, it was just very static style training. I felt super locked up all the time, and I was missing that conditioning aspect that had always been in my training up until I decided to go all in on powerlifting. So then I got introduced in the sport of strongman. And strongman for me was the bridge between the wrestling functional style training I had been doing and the all strength style that I was doing now in powerlifting. And so I trained strongman for a couple years. Again, I had a lot of success in the sport, and as I was getting to a really good position and starting to push really good numbers and starting to do really well in competitions, I again sort of lost interest in it. My body was just always beat up. I was having lower back problems, shoulder problems, and I just never totally felt healthy. And then in the spring of my junior year of college, I completely transitioned how I was living my life. And I decided to do a 4-month road trip where I was living out of my car and just traveling the Western United States. Now, it's very difficult to find a gym that you can train strongman in, let alone when you're just driving around randomly out west. So I viewed those 4 months as a perfect excuse to take time away from the gym, Now, I had been training consistently in the gym 6-7 days a week, sometimes twice a day, for basically my entire high school and college career. And on my 4-month road trip, I was finding myself in the gym maybe once a week and just finding enjoyment in movement and fitness in other ways. I was going for hikes, I was doing body weight workouts whenever I felt like it. And focused not on strength, but more on just moving my body. And so after those 4 months, I had lost a good amount of strength, lost a good amount of size, but I found that I was actually okay with it. So I found myself at like a crossroads. Did I want to go back into the strongman world and try to push for a national bid or placing at nationals? Or did I want to use this opportunity to, again, find a new path in fitness? And so I chose the latter. The next 6 months, I was just playing around with different training styles, doing body weight stuff, doing more functional stuff, doing hypertrophy and bodybuilding style training, doing strongman as well, and figuring out where I wanted to really concentrate my efforts. And then after committing to do a strongman show in February of 2022, the idea of doing an Ironman race was placed in my head by a good friend of mine. Shout out to Zach Commel again. I competed in my last strongman competition in February and then immediately started training for the Ironman Florida race that would take place in November of 2022. Over the next few months, I really found enjoyment in the endurance world, something that I never thought I would actually find. I just loved how my body felt, being able to run for hours, bike for hours, swim for hours. And so in that time, I ended up completing a half Ironman and a full Ironman race. And after completing the full Ironman, it seemed like a whole new side of fitness had just been unlocked to me. I made the decision then and there that I was never going to go back to only being a strength athlete. My body felt too good, I felt too healthy while I was doing the endurance training to ever just leave that behind. And so I spent the next few months after Ironman Florida just falling in love with a hybrid style of training. Lifting heavy, running long distances, running faster, swimming. And I felt like I had finally found the harmony I had been searching for in my training since I was a wrestler. And now, since becoming a hybrid athlete, I have completed a 50K race, benched 405 pounds, done countless half marathons, increased my mile time to be sub 6 minutes, and have become more mobile and flexible than I have been in my entire life. After about 6 months of not having a ton of structure with my training, just enjoying the balance of both endurance and strength, I found myself itching for another challenge to really direct my training and my efforts. And then the idea of the Boston Marathon popped into my head and I couldn't shake it. And so now for the last month, I have been focusing my efforts on specifically running as my endurance side of things with the intention of qualifying for the Boston Marathon. Now, in order to do that, I will have to run a sub 3-hour marathon, which kind of sounds insane, and I recognize that it really is, but I've just been enjoying the training so much. I love running. Never really thought I'd say that in my life, but then it also allows me to still do what I want to do with strength and find that great balance. So now that is the big focus of mine, training to qualify for the Boston Marathon. Now, it is going to be a long goal. Realistically, I won't try to put up a time in a marathon till about this time next year, as the next year will just be about increasing my running speed, increasing my aerobic capacity, and just becoming a better runner. Now, in that time, I am doing a lot of other athletic pursuits. I'm going to be redoing the half Ironman in Muncie, Indiana. I'm going to be redoing the full Ironman in Panama City, Florida. And I'll probably find some other competitions to do along the way. But still, the main focus of my training is finding harmony between both endurance and strength. And I really think that's how I'll continue to train for the remainder of my life. And just depending on what my specific goals are, I'll toggle one up and down depending on what's needed. And so that is my history of training. As you can see, in the 10 years that I have been consistently training, it has gone in a lot of different directions. But I think that's really cool, and I'm really proud of myself for being able to just pivot based on what I actually want to do. And that, I guess, if I can give you any advice from this video, is to always go with where your enjoyment is. When it comes to training, you're gonna have to work hard to get the results you want. That is a non-negotiable. But if you're actually enjoying the work that you're doing, yeah, it's gonna be hard, but you're not gonna mind doing it as much. Sure, you're still gonna have the times where you're not gonna wanna work out and you need to. That's just life. But when you have that underlying enjoyment, that fulfillment in your training, then you're gonna wanna do it. So if you don't have that, considering pivoting. Maybe you've been doing endurance your entire life. Consider just switching gears for a little bit. Doesn't mean you have to completely abandon it, but start making strength training a more of a priority and see if that unlocks a new passion and desire for you. On the flip side, if you've been doing strength training for a long time, maybe it's time to switch it up and go for endurance instead. You know, there's just so much value in trying new things, having new experiences, and becoming a beginner again. Enjoy the newbie gains. It's fun, it's exciting, and again, it gives you new experiences to then draw upon, and it doesn't have to be your new thing for the rest of your life, but you can take what you've learned, what you've experienced, and then apply it so that you can create a training style that is most fun for you. And when it's most fun, it's gonna be most sustainable. So I think that's all I got for this YouTube video. I appreciate you watching and supporting. And like I said, I am so excited to continue to make these videos and have a little bit more of a long form way to connect with all of you incredible people that support me. So it is about time for me to go hit my run for the day. And yeah, I think that's it. Oh, I see all the YouTubers do this. Like the video, subscribe so that you can continue watching me make a fool of myself on video and do it shamelessly, because that's just me. All right, I think that's it. Oh, hey, have the best day ever.